Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is Monday, and it is the Mindful Merchants. So it's Mindful Merchants. And this guy right here next to me is Cali Reseller Luis. If you don't know him, he is my co-host. I am the Lone Star Picker. And guess what we have today, Luis? We have a special guest.
we have Legoman.
Legoman of the Midwest. And better known also, or AKA Brandon. Would you like to give a brief introduction? Let everybody know.
So I just turned 18 in October. I've been reselling since I was 9. You've been
doing what since you were 9?
Reselling since I was 9.
There, you heard it.
And I've been on the YouTube community for about a little over a year now.
Has it been? Okay.
Yeah, because I started pretty much during COVID when I was trying to look for another way to resell my items. What else? I sell on Mercari and Etsy with my mom, and I have my own online store. So when I go to college, I'll be posting stuff on that link as well.
Cool.
Yeah, it's about all about me.
Okay. Well, we just want to kind of give a little quick intro. And what we're going to do for a moment here, Brandon, is we're going to say hello to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat today. Thank you for being here. This is our guest. Down below, we'll have links. Brandon has an Instagram, but his name is not Legoman of the Midwest, and we'll talk about that a little later. But his YouTube channel is also there, too, so that way you can find him. Let's start off with the first one I see here is, we got Bobby. Is that Bobby?
Hey, Bobby. How you doing, buddy? Hope JT's behaving today.
Yeah, I hope JT is really on his best behavior. And then we have lovely Ella, who just emailed me. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I did see that you emailed, and I just drove in probably 5 minutes ago to my to the house here, so I can make it in time for Mindful Merchants. Hello, Ella. Welcome. And we have... Who is this? This is Mrs. Wendy.
Hello, Wendy. How are you?
Welcome. Good to have you. And there is this, see, this is what happens when I lose my glasses again.
Hello, Bonnie.
Okay. Yeah. Good Lord. I got to get a bigger computer.
We got Hollywood Reseller. How you doing, Tino?
Tino. Welcome, welcome. And there is Back by Silver.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I always want to say Mimi Q. Good to see you, bud.
Hey, Laura.
Do you know this person? Do you know this person?
Boy.
Yeah.
Who is this? Who is this?
That's Laura. She does a lot of rocks and minerals, and she just has the biggest rocks I've ever seen, and they're just awesome.
She helps you out, like when you want to know, hey, what is this stone? She's gonna go, you don't know that? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Who else do we have here? Oh, okay. So hello and welcome again. What's her name? Jewelry, etc. is
Laura.
Oh, Laura.
Hi, Laura. Yeah.
Welcome, Laura. So, and we got Loot Raider here. Welcome.
Hey, Raider. How you doing?
She had a great live the other night. That was fun. I heard Luis was accusing her of what was it you're saying? You're like, this is a scam.
The giveaways were rigged.
Yeah, everything's rigged. We were teasing her.
Yeah, it was just a good time.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Well, welcome, everybody. And there's going to be more people, and we'll say hi to them as they come along. I think we got everybody, right, Luis?
Yeah, for now, yeah. People start coming in.
Good to see you. And so we're just going to play it off the cuff here. We're going to just kind of, like we normally do. This is a mellow Monday for us. We've, I don't know about, how was your weekend, by the way, Brandon?
It was pretty good.
Were you busy?
Not really. Kind of laid back and relaxed. I did Saturday though. The only really big thing I did was I relocated my antique booth from a wall space to a actual full-size booth, and I have both of those videos on my YouTube channel if anyone wants to check those out.
Oh, so you did make a video about it. Okay, there we go. Yep. That's a good time.
I had to be quiet in there though, because it was very busy in there.
Yeah. Did you make subtle comments or
Yeah, I had a little commentary.
Well, that brings up, okay, so how would you describe your style of content creation? Because everybody does it differently a little bit. Some people like to and this is not a poor reflection. It's not a criticism, not about you specifically, but anybody. Like we all, sometimes the best form of flattery is when somebody kind of copies what you do and stuff like that. Do you look to anybody else, and what is your content creation like?
Yeah, well, I started like a man of the Midwest doing Lego videos when I was like, 7, 8 years old. When I was collecting Legos, and I've been on YouTube
a little, just in a nutshell. Describe that. What you
did
when you were a kid.
When I was a kid, I did like Lego haul videos and different building videos and whatnot. I did kind of take some of those down because I don't want people seeing those. But let's see. I think it was during my middle school years. I kind of transitioned out of YouTube for a while, for 3 or 4 years. And then I came back on just this last couple of years doing the reselling and doing buy it now sales, and pretty much that.
That's good. No, and one reason I'm asking too is because you just said you turned 18 this year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to adulthood. But it sounds like you've been doing this. How long have you been reselling it? I mean, if you said it, just repeat it again for those coming in and anybody rewatching this. So
yeah, I've been reselling since I was about 9 years old. And I would be at the flea markets and doing garage sales and things like that.
Wow. So you started young. So would you say that's where your passion and your inspiration and your motivation for doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to focus on this, but I think it's a good reflection because Luis and I, we talk about, for the mindful merchants, we try to be as diverse as we can because, you keep having the same kind of sellers that only do this and this and this or something. In terms of business models or whatever, but, not everybody does things the same, and not everybody's the same either in terms of personality either. So, we're trying to bring a wide range of folks. And I think so far we brought some, really advanced, I would say, pretty wise in their years of like understanding like the business. Like some of them are like big name channels. We don't care about that. We just want to know what kind of business, opportunities in terms of experience can you explain and describe and talk about, and even though I would say you're probably our youngest reseller we've had on so far, or maybe one of them. And I think that's great because it doesn't mean you don't have as much experience as some others. You know what I mean? And I appreciate it. So, and I know I'm going on a little bit long here, but I'm trying to make a point and I want to hear from you so Brandon and I have had a quick previous interview, probably about a month or two ago, right? We talked, and one thing we had in common was, which Luis and I have in common, we've both done flea markets and we've dealt with the public, whether it's yard sales or whatnot, both selling and buying, right?
Yep.
So what would you say, was some of your biggest experiences that really helped influence and mold you to what you're doing now? And how did that transition into this world we call YouTube? And you don't just sell on YouTube. Do you sell on Instagram sometimes or no?
I don't really sell on Instagram. I tried it, but it's just not really my thing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But but doing flea markets and things, it was just a experience, I'll tell you that. I remember when I went to the flea market when I was 2 years old, but I don't remember any of that until I was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So, and then it was when we started getting the regular jewelry buyers that would come to our booth and buy stuff, and they would teach me little things like, oh, look for this kind of mark, or oh, look for this.
Nice. So they would actually share the kind of the ins and outs or the how-tos or the what to, that's really when did it settle in light bulb, wow, that is a lot of education,
Probably around 11 or 12, I would say, in my age. Then I started getting into this, and it's just been fun.
But it's also rewarding, right?
Yes. Yep. For sure.
What are some of the biggest rewards would you say you reaped so far? I mean, aside from money, let's say.
Friendships. That's one thing. And different clients for the business. I've got people that'll buy my stuff constantly, and I've got some that'll just wait a couple months and then contact me and buy stuff for me. So
Oh, interesting. So You say a couple months, so like sometimes maybe because they're going through their process of editing and inventory, if you will, you know, like meaning they gotta list it and they gotta go through their merchandise, and maybe they don't have a budget. But that's good that you have a client interaction or building of relationships so they can return to you. You know, that's something we always emphasize about multiple sources of income. Do we have a question here?
Yeah, we got a question from
Would you
Laura.
read that?
Yeah.
Okay.
She says, Brandon, how would you suggest I get my 9-year-old into starting his own business or becoming somewhat business-minded at a young age? Who got you into it?
Well, what got me into it was my mom, of course, because she's been buying and reselling since she was a young girl that lived in Massachusetts and somehow ended up in Iowa. But
she didn't force you into it, right?
No, she did not. I think I started at a Goodwill and I saw something and I told my mom to take it to the flea market and we sold it like that day. So and when I realized that and I started, you know, getting the feeling for the business, then I was like, okay, this could be fun and entertaining, you know, educational.
I would say definitely educational. What makes it fun, people don't want to admit this. I'm going to go ahead and be the first one to admit this. You guys can agree or disagree. I'd love to hear your take on it, both of you. Is like making money to me is fun. You know, it's fun because it just, you know, it takes your mind off of the lewdness of everyday, you know, being a householder. When I say a householder, washing dishes, paying rent, this and that, you know, things that are like so tedious. You get cash flow coming in. It's like, I can sit down and, you know, not worry so much because then you can actually be your true being, you know, like you want to go play a video game, you want to go read a book or whatever it is that you like to do. You know, that's great stuff. What do you do for your mental well-being? Like, what do you do for Brandon? Because you've been doing this for a long time as a young kid. When have you allowed yourself to be a kid? And you're still young, you know, and you could be a kid all the way into the 20s, you know, but it sounds like you're really professional. It sounds like you got your eye on the ball and the aim. I love hearing about stories like this about resellers, but I love it even more when I hear about younger, you know, folks that are like, I don't care. I'll play the old guy here, but it's like, you know, it's like doing this it takes a lot of work. So when do you find time for fun for yourself?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because normally I work in the overnight hours and I'm a night owl because I find myself being more productive overnight. And so then, yeah, I'm more productive overnight than anything.
When do you have time to source if there's a deal like at 7 a.m, you know?
That's the thing. I'll get a couple hours of sleep and then go to the sale, you know? So I can run. I've been to school many days now that school is over for me. And I've ran like 3-4 hours of sleep and I've gone to school day after day after day on 3 to 4 hours of sleep. So
not wait, but let's time out here for a second. But not that you would advise that because
no.
It's about your age, and she would pull that stuff too. It's not the healthiest and the best interest, no. Would you say? Especially if let's run it back to running a business. It's probably not in your best interest, right?
Probably. I should get on a better sleeping schedule, but I don't know. It's the summer and everything, and I just when I wake up, I just feel more productive overnight, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because the house is more quiet or whatnot, but
that's a good question because I was just thinking about the other day. It's like, why do I? It's funny. It's like people go, "Are you a night owl or are you?" I can be a night owl easy, but then you know, there's that stressful point where like I'm tired. I need just to go lie down. You know, I need to go to bed for the night, and that's you know, you can stay up to 1 or 2 listing in this. And I used to do that, but not anymore. But for me, I found regiments work and having schedules or routines. You know, all those are the same. I guess my question for you is, you know, like what regiments and what schedules work best for you? I mean, I know it's easy to be like a night owl and whatnot, but I love when you get up in the morning, like you said, there's that quietness. You get that. There's just no noise, you know?
Yeah. Well, I don't really have a schedule. I kind of just, you know, improv my schedule, if you'll say. I kind of have an impromptu schedule. I don't really, unless if I have like a doctor's appointment or there's a big church sale or something, then I'll, you know, plan accordingly. But if I don't have anything going on the next day, I just sleep when I want.
But you do make plans. You do make plans. You kind of foresee the future because, I mean, I think a good business person, Luis and I will attest to that, is you know, gotta kind of, you know, be ahead of the curve. It's like, you know, Matt part-time picker says, gotta be the first one there, you know,
Yeah.
oh, let me have 30 more minutes of sleep, and then there goes that opportunity. Or that. But back to what I was asking, what do you do for fun for you?
Oh, what do I do for fun?
You did say this business is fun, but it's, you know, but what do you do personally? Yeah.
Personally for fun, I could go on a bike ride, or there's a disc golf course that's by our house that I like to throw the disc, and
Nice.
yeah, a bunch of outdoor activities I like to do for fun.
Good. Physical activity. It's so important for resellers. We like to sit behind the desk. We're inside that room fixing stuff, inventory, whatnot. Yeah. Luis, what do you got for him? You got any questions here?
Yeah. So my question to you is, what got you into starting to do the YouTube options? What was your interest, or what did you say like, oh, I want to do that. I want to try that. What got you into that?
Yeah. So during COVID, I was trying to look for another way to sell stuff because our flea markets were shutting down. The antique booths weren't doing too well because of COVID. And everyone was in lockdown. And so I was trying to find a way to get into an online platform and keep selling other than Macari and Etsy that were on. And so when I stumbled across YouTube, there was one person that I popped to their auction, and I bought something off of them. It got here, and I was actually surprised. I was like, oh, this is like, you know, live eBay basically. And so when I saw the YouTube auction happening, and I just decided I wanted to join it, I knew this is what I wanted to do. So
awesome.
It's good. Well, actually, I wrote Luis a note. Did you see that one where I'm trying to remember his name? He says when you get older, it's much harder to run on a couple hours of sleep. Who said that? It was somebody in the chat. I think it was Ryan Davidson.
Yeah,
by the way,
I did put it up earlier. Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, there's, but I will say this much. Yeah, there's times I do love to get in that extra little bit of sleep, but you know, I guess everybody's business model is different. Like sometimes I'll run a 12-hour day, like in a pop-up, which is essentially a flea market. And you need that extra day to either recoup, but you also need the day before to prepare.
Yep.
You know, what do you do for like big events? Because I heard how many on average, and I know it can differ. Like how many on average online auctions do you do a week?
A week for me, it's either between 2 and 4.
Okay.
For sure we do 2. My mom and I do a buy it now sale on my channel every Monday and Friday. Unless if I get invited to other channels, then it'll be more auctions during the week. But if not, it'll just be those 2 for sure. So
let's say hi to a few more people. Go ahead, Luis. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had a question from Brian. It says, do you all resell full-time or have other jobs?
Am I starting with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I resell. I guess you can call it full-time. I'm going to go to college soon, which college will be the full-time, you know, job. But for the college did offer me work study, and I decided not to take it because they only charge minimum wage. Or they only give you minimum wage to work one of the college jobs there. And so I was like, I think this makes a little more money than minimum wage.
Minimum wage, yeah.
Isn't that great that you can see that coming into an institution, hence university or college, that's there to support you to become a better, you know, adult with a better job and stuff like that. And I will say this much. My daughter and I had this conversation. I'm like, I don't know that college is the only way to go. There are so many other ways you can make money and be happy and be your own boss. Would you say that's some of like, now that, I mean, because you've obviously, you know, wet your tongue and it's like, yeah, I got the taste of that. This is what it's about. But you also see that there's a little more freedom in it, would you say? You think that would help with your studies?
Sure. You can, you know, you can work at your own pace, work with your own hours. You don't have to work for someone else. You're just working for yourself, unless if you have a family member or hire somebody to help you work. So,
yeah, sure, most definitely. I mean, you know, and we're always going to have to, or like you said when we were starting our conversation, you know, Brandon, it's like, you know, part of the whole thing of doing business like that is like learning to build those relationships. So
Yeah, Johnny also wrote that Brandon has his own website where he also sells his products.
Yeah, I'm getting the link right now.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. If you're not already, somebody post his link when he has it or something, and then do me a favor after the show. Send that link to Luis. Maybe he can re-add it on YouTube for you.
Yeah, I'll add it on the description. So if anybody wants to check out your store and hopefully make a sale or two,
Do we have any questions in the chat? And who else popped in here? We got a few more people. I see Julia is still here. Thank you for coming, Johnny, Cajun Roots Reseller. We're gonna have to get him on one day. We should probably throw them both on because they know each other, and then they could have went at it and just said,
Hello,
"What do
Annie.
you mean?" There's Annie.
Cool.
Annie, get your gun. All right, let me see here. Who am I missing? I see.
There's his link for his website for his stuff. You guys want to check out his website? Feel free to go and check it out.
Talk a little bit about that. So these are things that you would acquire or find by way of however you sourcing, right? And then you just. How hard is it for somebody, would you say, if you want to recommend? By the way, this is for anybody who's watching. Welcome and shout out to the chat. Brandon's information is down below, so you can find both his Instagram and whatnot. But I was going to say, and we're going to put up his link to where he sells. How hard is it for a new reseller or a seasoned one to find a way to put up a website in terms of utilizing it as a purchasing place to go and go directly to buy it sourced from you?
Yeah, so this website took me 4.5 hours to find the website platform because I really didn't have a lot of money, starting that website. I didn't want to spend anything, so it took me a long time to find a website that won't charge by the month. And so when I kept looking, like Square and PayPal had, website opportunities, but that was per month. Then I was like, well, I got to keep looking. And so 4.5 hours later, and I found this. So
a little, obviously a little perseverance and whatnot, but in terms of developing it, just find the website server that's going to serve you the best, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Whether you pay for it or not.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Just want to answer Ryan's asking that he wants to know if both you and I are full-time, Louie.
Ryan, I am now considered full-time, but I do, not to say, because I like multiple sources of income, and we'll bring that up as a question for Brandon a little bit. I'll answer that first real quick. And then, yes, I am full-time, but I do have a part-time job. I decided just for safety measures, I like that extra source of income. So if I can't do a pop-up or I get behind on listing on eBay, or if I can't do an auction with Luis or something one day, for scheduling and whatnot. So yeah, I would say pretty much I'm full-time. I consider myself. How about you, Luis?
And me myself, I'm 100% full-time. Besides doing the auctions on my channel, I also do eBay, Mercari, and all the online platforms.
A lot of hats.
A lot of hats. I also do wholesale pallets. I have my regulars that buy pallets from me on a weekly basis, so I do wholesale pallets also. And another thing that I do is also the candy vending machines, which is the gumball machines.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, so definitely I have my hands on different streams of income. So, but pretty much the only one that I don't collect, that I don't keep the money from, is from the gumball machines. All that income from that goes into my kids' bank accounts for their college.
It's an investment business.
It's an investment, yeah. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, I'm 100% reseller all the way around. I wear different hats.
We all have to wear those different hats, or as I like to say, spin different plates. Right now, are you spinning more than one plate? You know what I mean, Brandon? I know you're about to start school. You just finished high school. By the way, everybody congratulate Brandon. That's a big achievement. It's not, I know it's kind of corny, but it's like, you did it. You're going to look back in 20 years and go, oh crap. It's like,
oh yeah.
You're very mature, but you still are a young adult, and it's a big achievement. How do you want to balance your idealness? Because when you're going to university or college, you're really there to learn something new, but also I think you're the type of person, I'm sure you're going to try to figure out, like, how am I also going to like somehow integrate this as a way of another source of income, and maybe somehow integrate it with what I'm doing, or use this as a backup tool, you know, vice versa, or one or the other, or maybe both. So like, what are your thoughts on the multiple sources of income? Because like right now you're just doing auctions, or would you say more?
Well, right now I'm doing, of course, my online store, YouTube auctions, and Macari Etsy. Those are kind of the main incomes.
That's a lot.
Those are the, well, I guess, well, how do I put this? Macari and Etsy and my online store are kind of the side incomes. The YouTube auctions is one of the big main incomes, and then the other two incomes are my two antique booths. I think
so you're already doing multiple sources of income. So yeah, you got what we call passive income, is kind of where you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning and cha-ching, eBay or Etsy or whatever it is, is there for you. Now doing the antique booth is kind of like a remote, if you will. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, like a remote doing a flea market, but it's enclosed and protected and secured.
Yeah.
So how can you talk a little bit more about doing an antique booth? Because I actually am interested in doing it. I've thought about doing it, but what would you say some of the pitfalls and things to be aware or cautious about in terms of challenges of starting up a antique booth? Do you mind talking about that?
Yeah, sure. So I have two antique booths in two different malls. I started one a year and a half ago, and the other one I started about last March, I think. That one I was on the waiting list for over 6 months. And then when COVID hit, of course, a lot of the elderly sellers in that antique mall started to, move their stuff out, and they just couldn't do it anymore because, places were closing, and they just, didn't feel like doing it anymore. And so I managed to get an antique booth there, and I've been doing pretty well at the booths. Decent sizes, decent rent pays, and yeah.
How would you consider your display? Polished, or are you just kind of like random things in there, or do you have like certain niches, or?
Yeah, so as you can see with my antique booth videos that I did recently, how I do my booths is kind of interesting, because one antique mall, all it has is Pyrex dishes, and then a wall full of jewelry, and then some etc. items on the left, like stuffed bears, Longaberger baskets, whatever I decide to put on that wall. And then the other antique shop is pretty much just a whole jewelry wall, some Pyrex, some glassware, and then a whole bunch of Beanie Babies, because that is all I sell there. It's just Beanie Babies. And the reason why is because in that antique mall, there is a bunch of old toys, but they're so expensive and they're so old that when parents bring their kids in, my booth is a way for them to buy something for their kids that's affordable. So.
At the same time, it pulls people into your booth.
Yep.
Like you said, it gives them that's a good ploy. I will employ, not in a negative sense of it, because when I have a flea market that I attend or a pop-up, most definitely I do like a lot of vintage clothing pop-ups, but I always bring plush and stuff for kids and stuff for adults that are kids. It always is an extra moneymaker. I would say maybe only 20% or less, but still, that sometimes can pay a booth fee.
Yep.
I would say, but you seem to do pretty good on the Beanie Babies, did you say?
Yeah, Beanie Babies.
I love it. What's the most
number one seller in the booth?
How much would you? Can we? Well, no, I don't want to go into specific. But would you say that you sell enough Beanie Babies to pay for your booth fee? Would you?
Oh yeah, double.
Really good. That's good to know. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to be nosy, but I'm very curious because here in Texas, antique malls is what they used to like to call them, but they're getting the idea of like kind of get away from that, or they'll name the center something different. Like there's a place here in Taylor, Texas. It's wonderful, and it's called Vintique Mall. Still, they put the word mall in there, but they'll have a market days, which is like a pop-up. It's the same thing as a flea market. And let me tell you what, if you market it right and this and that, you know. So have you ever thought about talking to the venue of getting them to maybe do like a once a month pop-up, and maybe you kind of help run it or something where you can get a free spot and it really pulls more income in, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially if it's close to you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, one of the antique shops is right by the highway. They normally don't do any vendor shows or anything like that. They do outside sales where vendors from inside can bring their stuff outside into the yard.
Okay.
And just display it in the yard. But then the other antique shop is in like a little downtown area, and twice a year they have an antique jamboree. And so that's what they call it. And so about 25, 30-ish vendors that are dealing in antiques come to this show and set up, and then they get quite a lot of people that come and walk through and go to different booths and things. So, hey, Kat.
Let's say hi to some more folks here, Luis. If you want to put them up there, we got Kat. Oh, Kat's Alluring Treasures. Hello, Kat. We got Loot Raiders here again. We wanted to say that. Fundamentals of Side Hustling. There's Derek. Thanks for joining us, Derek. Appreciate you. You guys, check him out on Wednesday. He's got some great, and his content is superb. Check him out. Hyphy Gold. Here's one of our past guests.
What's up, Topher?
Kat's Alluring Treasures. You guys check him out. Check her out. Luis, you got any other kind of like auction type questions or anything you want to?
Yeah, I mean, right now you're doing the antique booths and you're doing the auctions and stuff. Once your school starts, how are you going to adapt with your businesses and then also attending college and going at the same time? How are you planning to adapt that to kind of keep your businesses going?
Yeah, so with the buy it now sales, what I plan on doing is having my mom's going to sell pretty much the whole time. I'll pull up my channel for her to sell, and then I'll just be in the background working on my studies or whatnot. But hopefully on the weekends, I'll be able to list more and whatnot. I did create my college schedule, and I'm very happy with it, considering I'm a night owl. I got late classes, so I'm very happy with that. But yeah.
You got late classes, you said?
I got late classes. I don't have at 8, 9 o'clock. I got a 10:30 as my first class. I'm so lucky. And then the best part, though,
everybody's business model is different, but that can actually be good for you because you can get to garage sales ahead of time.
Exactly, and that's not even the best thing. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I only have one class. Just one class on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, Laura. Appreciate it.
So
yeah, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Well, but that gives me enough time since I'm a night owl and I hardly wake up in the morning. When I do wake up, it'll be nice to, go to the cafeteria and have breakfast and I don't have to rush for a coffee.
True. All right, we got another question for Brandon. When you first started your auctions, what did you do to help bond with the audience?
Yeah, so when I first did auctions, my first auction was on Carol Creative Corner. That was froze. There we go, I'm back. The first time I did an auction was on Carol's Creative Corner's channel, and what I did was I used a spinning wheel to get people motivated, to buy stuff and to say hi and whatnot. And what I would do is with the wheel, if you spent $50 or more, you would get one spin on the wheel. And the spots on the wheel was $10 off your invoice, $5 off your invoice, or free shipping. So you could land on any one of those, and that's what would happen. Nice. So, yeah.
That's pretty good sales and marketing strategy.
Yep,
did we go there in terms of your education, like where you're going to go? Are you going to study any business classes?
I'm not going to be studying business, even though people think I should. I'm going to be doing multimedia journalism as my major with a minor in music.
Nice.
So.
What's your music major?
Huh?
What is your music major going to entail?
The music minor?
I'm sorry, music minor. Sorry.
Yeah. It's going to be probably saxophone studies because I really enjoy doing
How long have you been playing?
Since 5th grade.
Cool. What style of saxophone do you like? Is it jazz or?
Oh, jazz. Yeah, jazz 100%.
Do you know Tower of Power?
I feel like I've heard of that name before, but I'm not.
They're all
sure.
horns. They're from the 70s, but they've like backed up a lot of bands. They were their own band, but they would back up other bands in terms of like, yeah, they're pretty interesting. They backed up, I want to say Doobie Brothers, Huey Lewis, a lot of other crazy 80s bands, and stuff like that. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm trying to think of questions. So like, what do you do? This is a hard question because not everybody's, everybody's kind of different at different stages. Do you like to read any specific type of books? And if so, do you like to read any books that are business related? It could be cheesy, easy, self-help, or it could be like strategy books or something. Or it doesn't even have to be reading. Do you watch anything on YouTube that helps influence, your mindset in terms of being a better reseller, in terms of mental strategies and mental well-being?
Yeah, I watch some YouTubers that I get helpful tips, and different things that'll help me out through life. But my favorite part is when I watch YouTubers who go to a sale or something, pass by something I would pick up, and I'm just screaming at the screen like, why didn't you pick that up?
You type them, give a write to them and say, hey, you really screwed up,
No, I don't do that.
Sometimes they like when you do that. I would suggest consider getting that next time. And I've had big names write me back and go, really? I'll look for that next. And they did. They've written back and said, thanks. I would have never thought to look at that, And that's the great thing about this community. How has this community impacted you? And so, because we're going to talk about the two legs that we stand on here. We talk about in the shows. One is that you're a reseller. The other is you're a content creator. Both, and yeah, like how has it impacted you into, just whether it's the people, the community, the ideas,
Yeah,
would you say it sped up your growth or your passion or anything or what?
Well, yeah, the people in the community most of them are very nice, about 95%, I would say. And we all get along together and everyone likes each other. And that's what I like about the community is that everyone, collabs together. And, when you're on someone's channel, of course, you have to be respectful of it. And so I just enjoy the fact that everyone is together basically in this like sort of reseller family.
Yeah, it is. There's a very good supportive nature of it. And even if sometimes, and I like that you use the word collab because collaborating is, I think, probably one of the essential learning skill tools for like resellers is like when you put yourself out there and you kind of humble yourself and say, hey, you know what do you have that I don't understand how you do that. Why do you do that? Oh, I do this because, and that person's willing to share. They're gifting you something. They're really gifting you back to you. Because I've met a lot of resellers that are kind of greedy. And when I meet resellers, I'm open and they're like, you're an open book. Why? And I'm like, aren't you afraid? I'm like, that's just it. I'm not afraid of anything because fear is, I think, the biggest dam that closes the mind, and you have a closed mind and not an open heart, how far can you grow? Because the more you help other people, I think it really helps yourself in the long run in terms of like, being a better communicator, a better strategist, somebody that, has a good philosophy and healthy appetite. I'm not saying, give away all your really good, secrets or something, but you can talk about it in terms of business and saying, well, have you ever thought about looking up in comps? What do you mean comps? I don't know what a comp is, and there's people that don't, and it's like, well, because and granted, we're all like at different stages of our resellingness, so we hope in one of our things that Luis and I talk about is, maybe somebody will come back that's a new reseller and say, who's this Lego man? I love Legos, and then they'll come back and hear something you say and, you gifted them because you're being forthright. And so you want to talk about anything specific, like, your experiences in the past? I did ask you once for like, not naming names or anything, but like, being sensitive to a person that we don't even know is probably long gone, but like, what has been some of your harshest or most challenging experiences? Like, let's say at a flea market or a church sale or something like that, Have Can you talk about it like in a little short story or?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say it's harsh, but it's the awkward moments that you run into when you go to a garage sale or a church sale or something. I had one lady at a church sale who I was looking at the jewelry table, and this church sale has the tables and the rows are just like this thin, and you can hardly walk through them. Only like 1 or 2 people can fit through the row at a time. So I was looking at the jewelry table, lady with a big butt just comes and knocks me out of the way, and I'm just like, oh, really? You're gonna do that?
How old were you back then?
12 or 13, I want to say. But
totally took advantage of the situation, huh?
Yeah, and that church sale was like the weirdest day, because after that happened, about 30 minutes after that, I was looking at the clothes, and all of a sudden, everyone in the room hears this big crash, like someone just broke a plate on the floor or something. And this lady dropped a plate on the floor, and she looks at it. She turns to her husband and just yells the S word out very loud. And this is in a church. And so everyone like gasped and was shocked. And then the husband like dragged her out of the church and was like, you can't say that.
Yeah. Talk about being mindful, right? You're like, you know.
I mean, it was an interesting day at that church sale, I'll tell you that.
I bet you we all have our war stories, you know, or you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, me at a yard sale one time, and one of the videos, if you go to my channel, when I met up with Derek and Miss Taffy, we were at a yard sale. I was digging through some hats, and I saw these particular hats that I was putting on the side because I was going to comp them, and I had them in my hand, and this lady literally just came and took them out of my hand. She said, "Excuse me," and I thought she was going to walk by, so I was going to get up and let her go by. And she snatched the hats out of my hand, and she said, "Oh, these are no longer for sale," and she took them.
Oh, I saw that video.
Yeah, so that was one of my experiences.
It's the friends, you know, that contact you. I had my Spanish teacher contact me about someone in her homeowners association who wanted to sell a bunch of their jewelry and wanted to get rid of it. It was their grandmas, their great grandmas, and their sister-in-laws and their moms, like a whole big collection, and they wanted to get rid of it. So I got the lady's number from my Spanish teacher, who got the lady from whatever. And so I went to the
She knew you resold, right?
What?
She knew you were a reseller, right?
Not until I told her.
Yeah.
And so I got to this lady's house, and holy cow, like the best rhinestone jewelry, the best, you know, silver, whatnot costume that I've seen in a while, in one big collection. And so I asked her how much it was. She goes, "Oh, it's this price." And as soon as she said the price, I took it, because I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a moneymaker for sure.
How long ago was that, Brandon?
2 weeks.
Wow.
So you can I tell you something? You were essentially blessed. You know what I mean? And I use that term loosely, but I use it in a way like this is a make or break situation with resellers. Is you get that opportunity, you found it, but you made it work. But like also you didn't waste any time. Like I've had guys who are like, you know, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, he's gonna ask $1,000 for this item, and I'm like, well. You know, and you don't ever want to be the first one to go, because, you know, what is our game? Is buy low and sell high. So we don't want to give them too much. But, yeah, you know, that's great. So you basically got it and got out of there fast, didn't you?
But in a way, I did accept the offer fast. But then she said, "Oh, I have 6 boxes of glassware in my living room. If you want to go through them, you know, you can take whatever you want." I'm like, okay. So I wound up taking like 15-ish pieces, I think, from those boxes. So
that is a great thing. That's great. You know, thanks
awesome.
for sharing. Yeah, because, you know, and also for us, we don't get always an opportunity, because even sometimes resellers, okay, I already heard these type of stories. You know, we always want to share our great things and expand on it. But by you sharing it, you're actually going to help somebody like, okay, yeah, don't waste time. Don't do this. Get to the opportunity. Make it easy and graceful, and, you know, like, I only want $15. Here's 20. Boom. You know, goodbye, and leave them. You know, I try to be generous, but, you know, I don't want to overpay either. But I had a situation like that when COVID started. A lady, I don't know how I got it first, but it was one of those emails that you get from a like an estate sale, but it was for garage sales. And I clicked on it and it says, we are actually having a moving sale. So it's like as opposed to a yard sale, because of COVID, we're going to have everybody sign up. Here's the email. The first one gets first pick a time, and then we'll go from there. And I remember going, boom, what's the earliest and what's the first day? And she gave me the first day, and I went. It took me 3 trips to fill my car.
Wow.
So you got to get there. Yeah.
We got another
Luis?
question for Brandon, actually.
Let's have it.
Says, any thoughts on selling on Amazon?
Probably not. I just the whole Amazon thing. I don't like to get too big. You know, I think I'd rather stay as a small business owner, and I'd rather not.
At least right now,
sell my products to a bigger corporation. Because I'm just an 18-year-old, you know. I'm just starting young.
But you say that, but don't underestimate yourself. You know, as long as your credit's good, and you can start slow on something that's like, because Amazon. I'll be honest, I'm not an Amazon person. I probably won't ever go to it either. But I don't snub my nose at it because I know a lot of people that are really effective and good at it. And they go, Louie, you don't have to sell mega books and this and that product and this and that, you know, and go buy it. You know, you can start off with something. Let's just say you ran into a wholesaler that had this many of this certain jewelry that actually is already on Amazon. And if you got a good credit and you have an account, you basically just sell it. You can do FBA, or you can fulfillment by merchant, FBM, right? And so, you know, there are strategies about it, but don't underestimate yourself being 18 because you have a lot of experience. Really, you shared with us. You know, you're brilliant, right? It could be actually something where, like, as long as you have a tote, you put all the stuff in there and it's multiples. That's passive income. You sleep on it. And it's just a redundant sell. You just got the bag, throw it in there. There's your label. Goodbye. You know, and it's pretty much that's it. But they do have some pros and cons. There are some stipulations where they can charge you fees. They can you for being late. Yeah. So maybe being that your age has something to do with, like, this is not the right time because you're getting education. Yeah. Maybe not. You know. Yeah. But I would say definitely leave the doors open because you never know. You know.
Yeah.
You know, there's always those opportunities.
We've got another question here. Let me put it up. How do you price your items for auctions? If you have an awesome, valuable item and there is only one person bidding from the start, plus free shipping, do you take it? Has it helped my content / channel?
Let's answer the first part. Let's answer the first part.
Yeah.
Well, this is like a multiple question.
It is, yeah. How I price my items, it just depends on if there's a company name on it or if it's a popular brand item. And what I like to do with mine, I get my stuff in bulk, so I get it very cheap. And so what I want to do is, since I get it cheap, I want to sell it to you as cheap as I can, sell it for. So I start the very lowest price that I'll be willing to sell it for. And if the bids just go up, they go up, Yep. So the other part was that if you have an awesome or valuable item and there's only one person bidding from start plus free shipping, do you take it as this helped my content or channel? I would say yes, because if you have an awesome or valuable item and there's only one person bidding, well, at least there's someone who wants it, It's not like you're putting a valuable item up there and everyone's like, yeah, we'll just pass on this, So at least there's someone who will want it.
Good questions. Yeah. And I've learned too is if, like, I don't know if you own a store on eBay or whatnot, but because I pay a monthly fee, I know the tricks and ins and outs, and there are some ways that they can still charge you extra fee. So I stay away from those little loopholes, which is categorically they'll give you this many thousand for free, whatever, if you buy the store level, After that, there's certain like auctions, they'll charge you no matter what. So it's like, unless it's under the category of collectibles. So somehow I always find a way to put it as a collectible because that's pretty much what I sell anyway. But I will say this much. If I have an auction, I'm going to run it high on a higher low number. Like, I don't want to get any less than this, like if it were to be bidded up. So why not just start at that lowest of the highs? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I usually play the mind game. Like if I want at least $50, I put $49.75 starting bid. you know. And usually when somebody goes, oh my God, he's giving all those toys or whatever, you know, yeah, start it off, because then once you do that and you leave it as a 10-day, it's getting those 3 extra days on a week. And it can be where it employs you that extra time and energy that you put into that to be able to be in a search engine. And then I've noticed by the 7th day, that weekend comes and people are like searching and buying, you know, and then all of a sudden I got 5 buyers, you know, fighting at the bid. So there's different ways, you know, when you play those strategies. That's a good question, but there's so many ways. I would just say this, as a reseller, always try to look at it in a different way. And say, no, I want to do it this way, but what happens if I do it in this way? Well, there is that advantage, you know, and it's like, so it's always just constantly thinking about that. Do you think while you're in college, do you think you're going to take at least one business class that might, like, providing you can find the one that meets your needs, like accounting or bookkeeping or something like that, that can be a really good business, you know, strategy?
Yeah, in college, I probably will take a marketing class. Probably sophomore, junior year. I don't know. Depends how the schedule works out. But at the college, there is one club I'm definitely going to join. It is the Young Entrepreneurs Club they have at the college.
Awesome.
That'll be fun to join.
You're going to find a lot of resellers, trust me, and you're going to help them, you know.
Yeah.
I would suggest one other thing. You don't have to, but get into some type of I can't remember what they call this. It's more like a club, but it's the Toastmasters, but I would get into like a debate club, because that's just going to help your skills, debates, you know, and not strictly for debating, but just being able to like be a better communicator with content creation, being confident. Go ahead.
The college that I'm going to, their speech and debate program has been nationally recognized, and they like have a bunch of national awards. So I'll think about joining it. I'm not too sure yet, but
no, I mean, like, that's something that definitely, because if anything, it's going to help you with your negotiation skills. Look at it like this. This is what I told my daughters. It's going to help you with your negotiation skills. And I say negotiation, not arguing, negotiation skills. When you find that deal and that person's like, and you want what they have, and they're like, it's not for sale. I've got a guy to take his shirt off his back, literally. And I bought his shirt off of his back. And he was like, it is not for sale. The term that we call it in the shirt rat rose, I bought off the back. No, I'm like, what? And I didn't tell you this, Luis. Guess what happened this weekend? Somebody bought a shirt off my back, and I sold it for $50 this weekend at a pop-up. I took my shirt off. I was naked. I didn't care. And my neighbor, who was as a reseller friend, said, "What the?" He sold me that shirt. He's like, "How much did you sell that shirt for?" I'm like, $50. I told the guy to go take a walk, that you cannot have this shirt unless you give me $50, and he gave me $50 for it.
Nice.
Wow.
It's all about how you negotiate. You know? Oops, sorry about that. I don't know. That was my phone. But we are running short on time. We want to be respectful of this. Everybody, this is Brandon. He is the Legoman of the Midwest. Go check out his YouTube channel. He's growing. He's a really young entrepreneur, but he's extremely smart and wise. I would say just as much as some of the new starters that's been around. He's been doing this since, you know, for like almost 10 years. So
yeah,
that's a long, long time. We thank you for being here. Did you have any questions for us or anything, or anything you want to share?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really have any questions, but I do have Buy It Now sales on my channel every Monday at 5:30 Central Standard Time and every Friday at 11:30 Central Standard Time. So check those out. The Friday one's always the Night Owl one. And then this Sunday, I'll be on Hemlock Lady's channel for a Just Jewelry auction. So,
okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. Maintain your focus and elevate. We thank you for being here. This has been Mindful Merchants. Luis, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I just want to thank Brandon for joining us. I know it's been a while. We were trying to fit him in through our schedule because of your schooling, but I'm glad we finally got you on. Yeah. And Louie say, don't forget to subscribe to Brandon if you guys are not, or if you guys are not familiar with this content. Check out his channel. Follow him on Instagram. All the links are posted down below in the description. And like I said, thank you guys for joining us every Monday.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button on your way out. We really appreciate it. And don't forget, tomorrow we have our Tuesday night live auction here on my channel, myself. And Louie won't be with me tomorrow, but I do have a special guest joining me tomorrow. So make sure you guys come out, hang out. We'll have some great stuff to sell tomorrow.
I don't get to be there. Thank you, Brandon. We appreciate you being here,
thanks,
buddy.
Brandon.
Oh, I think he froze. All right, we'll end it here. Take care.
All right, see you guys. Have a great Monday. There he is.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.